network.
Yes.
Yeah, those, yeah, that's good. So far, it's good. I just have to catch up more.
Okay. So yeah,
Uh,
can you able to see my screen?
yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, actually I created two servers. So yeah, Nurme, if you don't have an account and it is new for you, even if you don't understand, just observe. So what I did, I simply log in into my AWS account. Then I have created two laptops. If you see, this is my laptop, Windows laptop. So if you want to create the same Windows laptop in, you can create in cloud. So what I did, I created two systems. So I've installed Kubernetes on both the systems. So I have login inside this system. If you want to log in, you need to click this, click on connect, copy this. Then I will, if you say I'm inside the Ubuntu system. Same like Windows, Ubuntu is also one type of operating system, which is called as Linux. So I'm inside the server. Now I want to like tell, I got a task yesterday to create a basic calculator. They told me to deploy a basic calculator. I don't know what is the purpose, but they need a basic calculator to do some calculations and all. So they don't have any like even access for installing. So what I did yesterday, I've deployed that basic calculator using Kubernetes deployment. So how I've done that, I'm going to explain. Before that, I I just want some clarity. You know about deployment and service, right? So I will open Paint. Right, this is the deployment. This is a service. Using deployment, we are going to create a pods. Right, pod 1. This is pod 2. Who will manage this? Replica set will manage this. So this is a deployment. So if I want to access the application to outside, what I will use? I will use a service. So how traffic will come to the pod? It's one of interview question. So in service, what I use it to do? I use it to right. What I use it to attach a. So I use it to give the labels. Same thing for pod also. You will be having labels, right? So this pod also will have label. This pod will be also having a label. So using replica set will create a pod. So if this pod is not working fine, what it will, this pod will be deleted, and in this pod it will replace with new pod. And for every pod you will get an IP address. That's the reason what service will do. Service will not work on IP address. Service will work on labels. So service will go and search for a pod with that particular label. If that pod is available, traffic will send to that pod. This is what going to happen. So if I want to access this application, people used to visit the website, right? So just imagine here we have a load balancer. We need to purchase a load balancer. Okay, I will copy this image. Okay, people used to hit the web like domain, right, from Google Chrome or Google. Okay, so then the request will from Google, it will go to, it will hit the load balancer. From load balancer it will go to service. So from service it will go to the pod. From pod, inside the pod your application, your container will be running. Inside the container your application will be running. So just imagine, for now even google.com is also work in the background, it will run on pod itself. So just imagine people are visiting google.com. So whenever you hit google.com, what happens? So whenever I hit a google.com, I'm getting a website, right? How this is happening in the background? So whenever I hit a google.com, first the request will go to the load balancer. So from load balancer it will go to service. From service it will search for the google.com application where it is running. Like this, within seconds it is going to happen. This is super, everything was working perfect, but there is one disadvantages. So if you see, we are created a service to expose the application of deployment. Okay, for one service it is okay. Now imagine, company will not have one service, right? Company might have multiple services. So just let me save this. Creates deploy workflow. No, now I will open my Visual Studio Code. If you see, so if you see, this is the order service, identity service, catalog service, basket. So in, if you see in amazon.com, how many services are available? Too many services, right? So in the same way, company application is a microservice application. Right now we are discussing only single deployment and service file, deployment and service. Okay, if you see here, we have 4 services and with 4 deployments. What is the disadvantages, right? I'm just talking about one service. So what I said to you, we need to purchase load, we need to purchase public IP. So if you want to purchase a load balancer, nothing but you are purchasing a public IP. You need to do payment for this load balancer. If it is one service, okay, I can invest amount for load balancer. If I have multiple services, for that every service I need to purchase a load balancer from the cloud. Is there any other way so that I can save the cost? Okay, now I will do some changes in this diagram. Okay, new, just observe. Copy image. So people will visit the website using which website? Just imagine this is that is a google.com. So people use it to visit the google.com. Then the where the request will go to, request will go to a load balancer. So the from load balancer the request will go to, in the previous diagram what I shown you, request will go to service, right? But what Kubernetes did, Kubernetes has implemented a new in 2015. Okay, after 2015 Kubernetes has implemented a one new concept called as ingress controller. This is also one type of load balancer for internal Kubernetes cluster. So we will define the ingress rules. Don't worry, we are going to discuss about these things briefly. I want to show you the task. That's the reason I'm just implemented this. But during the for ingress, we will be having sessions. So in ingress, what you will do from ingress, it will go to the services. You will define the rules, right? According to the rules, it will go. The traffic will go to multiple services. Just imagine. Okay, you will be having SVC1 service 1. Okay, SVC2, SVC3. So from the service, traffic will go to the pod with the labels. So this is the deployment of pod. Okay, deployment replica set will control this. Okay, this is the pod. Now you ask you asked me, okay, what is the use of this ingress? Why we are using? In the brief before diagram, if you see, for each service I need to purchase an IP address for load balancer. So what is the use of ingress? You no need to purchase any license. So if you just need to install a software called as ingress controller. Ingress controller, what it will do, depending upon your service request, it will send the traffic to that particular service. Like right now, just I will go to Amazon. Okay, so just imagine Amazon is working as a container inside the pod. So whenever I click on home and kitchen, this is one type of service. I need to go to that particular page. Whenever I click on mobiles, it is another service. It should go to the mobiles related page. So how this is happening? So whenever I click like today's deal, so I will get the deal. So how this is happening? So if I come back to this diagram, so ingress controller will have multiple services. So today's deal is one service. Okay, customer service is one service, home and kitchen is one service. So just right now I shown you three services, but in reality the company, depending upon the website, they might have multiple services. So you cannot purchase a IP address for each service. It's a huge investment. So what Kubernetes is telling, okay, you don't want to waste your money investing and purchasing load balancer. You just install the ingress controller, so that just define me the rules. Depending upon whenever you tap on that particular service, I am going to send the traffic within the cluster. So this is what. So now I will show you the ingress file. So if you see, just observe what I said, right? Ingress rules. What is this rule? If you see, backend, I am given a service and name of the service, identity service. Go to service.yml. What is the service name? Identity service. So just observe this diagram. In the ingress file, I have defined the rules. Whenever I get a request to this identity service, what I define the rule here, go to the ingress file. Whenever I get a request to this service, I set a path slash identity. Nothing but what I need to do, simply I need to go to amazon.in slash new releases. Whenever I click on mobiles, amazon.in slash mobile phones. So whenever click on electronics, amazon.in slash electronics. How it is happening? Ingress has defined the rules. So you need to visit the website amazon.in slash electronics, amazon.in slash mobiles, amazon.in slash, like this the page will be defined. If you see, just observe this, slash identity, slash order, slash basket. So these things I will show you practically, don't worry. I am going to show you all these things practically. Slash catalog. So like this it will work. If I show you practically, you will get some clarity. So this is what I have implemented in today, like in yesterday's session. So yesterday, sorry, what I have session yesterday, I got a task. So now I will tell what is the task. Task is create a simple, sorry, not a, I got a email. Okay, I got a email like basic calculator in AKS cluster. So right, for my project they are using Azure. as a cloud. They are not using AWS. They are using Azure and they have a AKS cluster. Nothing but they are using a Kubernetes service called as Azure Kubernetes service. So they told me to create a basic simple calculator, not in one environment. It's on staging, testing, prod, and UAT as well. So I just implemented on staging environment. Okay. After confirmation, I just send an email to the client. If he is okay with this, I will implement the same thing in all environments. Right now, I just created in staging environment. Staging environment nothing but is copy of the cluster. That's it. There is no confusion. Okay, you what is this staging? What is this testing? What is this prod? You might get confused. It's nothing there. This is one type, one server. This is one more server, right? In the same way, environment is also same. It's a copy of multiple boxes. Why they okay? You can ask me why this many environments. You can use only one environment, right? Because testers testing team will use this testing environment. Developers will use this staging environment. Production will be it's a ready to release market. So UAT will be used by some other team. So for every team they maintain different environments. That's the reason we are going to create multiple environments. Okay. Now come back to the task. So they told me to deploy the basic calculator. I tried to install basic calculator, but I'm getting permission denied. So what I did, I deployed it as a pod. So how I have deployed it? So I will go. Yeah, this is calculator, right? This is the deployment. So if you see, this is Pawan Tank, nothing but my name slash calculator. What I did first, I have created a just a moment history. So calculator using Flask. Yeah, this is the code I have taken. Okay, using this code, what I did, I have taken this code. Using this code, I have created a Docker image. So if you know Docker, you no need to ask all these things. So let me write here itself. Steps taken Python calculator code. Okay, that is the first step which I have done. Second step, created a Docker image. So I have asked, is there any like where I need to push this Docker image? They didn't told me. So what I did, I like pushed the image to Docker Hub. So I pushed my to my account. Okay, created deployment in K8s. That is the fourth step. Then after created a service. Sixth step, implemented ingress rules. So so whenever I hit stage dot, I don't want to reveal my company. So the website was, they have state dot brs dot com slash calculator. Whenever I hit this dot com slash calculator, I need to get that application. Which application? Calculator application. Whenever I hit this website, this domain name slash calculator. Same like this. If you go to amazon.com, whenever I hit amazon.com slash mobile phones, how I am getting, okay, amazon.com slash phone slash p, I think. So amazon.in slash amazon prime. So if you see, whenever I hit amazon.in slash amazon prime, I'm getting this page. In the same way, whenever I hit stage.brs.com slash calculator, I need to get the calculator. So for that, I need to implement that. So what I did, I will show that file. So if you see, this is the deployment file I have written. Okay, you can ask me from where I got this image. I have already shown you. What I did, I have taken this code, I converted. If you see, there is a Docker file. I converted this into a Docker file. I have written Docker file. So from Python image, copy, workdir, right? Then after expose to run this application. Then using this Docker file, we need to create a Docker image. I've created Docker image and I pushed the Docker image to the Docker hub. Then using that image, I've written a deployment file. So if you see, API version app slash v1 kind deployment, metadata, name of the deployment, spec replicas 2, selector, match labels. You know about this template, metadata labels, spec containers, and what is the image name. So if you see, I pushed the image to Docker hub. I said right where. Let me go to the hub.docker.com. So if you see, this is my repo Pawan Tunk. Okay, if you see Pawan Tunk slash calculator. So in this repo, I have pushed the image. If you see, 17 hours ago, yesterday, with tag 1. Same, right? Pawan Tunk slash calculator with version 1. And this container runs on 5000 port. That's the reason I've given container port 5000. Then after, I've written a service API version v1 kind service metadata selector and target port 5000, protocol port TCP. So if you say I didn't given any type, you need to give the type, right? If you don't give the type, by default it will take as a cluster IP, service type of cluster IP. So then after, what I did, I created an ingress file. If you see here, host name replace with your domain, nothing but my company has a host name. I've shown you stage.brs.com, but it is not a original. Here you need to give the stage dot something dot something dot com, which company will provide. Everything will be same. Okay, the whatever I am teaching, real time will also same. Only some names will be changed. The steps, everything will be remain same. So if you see, I've given path slash, I need to give calculator. So whenever I hit, right, whenever I hit calculator.example.com/calculator, what it will do, Ingress will send the traffic to this particular service. Okay, what is this service? Calculator app service. So calculator app service. What calculator app service will do? It will go and select the labels calculator app. It will go and search for the labels calculator app. So there is a already container is running with calculator app. The traffic will go to that particular. So like that, the traffic will go to that particular pod. So this is what I have implemented. I'm going to show you now practically. I will log in to my Kubernetes cluster. My terminal, if you don't use the terminal, it will stuck. What I will do, I will close. I will click on master, click on connect, copy, go to the folder where your PEM file is located, shift insert, enter. So I will create a folder called as mkdir calc, go inside calc. So right now I don't want to show you the ingress. I will show you only deployment and service. Ingress will be discussed briefly in upcoming sessions. Then you will get clarity. Vi deploy.yml insert. So I will go to the code, right? I will copy this. So don't worry, during practice we are going to discuss a, after completion of Kubernetes we are going to discuss a project. So at that time I will show you step by step. I will create Docker file. I will take code. I will create a Docker file. I will use create a Docker image. I will push the Docker image to Docker Hub. From Docker Hub, I will take in create a deployment file, service file. So that things I will show you. I will implement these things manually. I will implement the same thing using Jenkins as well, so that you can explain that same thing in the interview. Okay, vi service.yml insert. So did you remember how many service types are available?
Three types:
Okay, what are the types?
cluster IP,
Okay,
node
remaining
port,
two. Yes,
load balancer.
super. So what is the difference between the three? What is cluster IP? What is node port? What is load balancer? So if you see type cluster IP and type node port. So inside the spec you need to define the type. Now I want to use a type called as node port. Yeah, let me know. It's very important. In the interview they will ask. kubectl apply -f. If you don't want to expose the application to the outside world, if you want to use that application internally within the cluster, cluster IP, within the cluster IP. In the name itself you can find. So, but if you want to expose the application inside the organization, nothing but on the node port, if you want to expose to outside world, load balancer. In the name itself you will getting the definitions. kubectl apply service, sorry, apply -f. Okay, kubectl get, you can enter shortcut all -o wide. So if you see, I have created a service called as calculator app service. So va service .yml port, target port, protocol, TCP. So if you want to, you can do like this, kubectl get deploy, right? kubectl get service. So if you see, my service was created with type cluster IP. I need to change that. Let me check. Okay, get pods. I'm getting. But if you want to get all things at a time, what is the command? kubectl get
Get pods.
all -o wide. So if you see, first it will get the pod, then after service, then deployment, and replica set also you are getting. Now there is a mistake in service file. What is that mistake? I will go to service. I will compare with this service. Okay, kind service metadata inside the spec. So if you see, inside the selector I have given type node port. It's a mistake or not? I need to give the outside of selector. So we will do some mistakes. If you don't give anything, it by default it will take as a cluster IP as a service port. If you observe, now whenever I deployed it has taken as a cluster IP. If you don't define, by default default is a cluster IP. Cluster IP is nothing but you cannot able to expose that to the outside. Internally you can access. Okay, type you can use load balancer or node port. Load balancer is nothing but you, as I said, you need to purchase from cloud. But in company what I did, company have multiple services, they cannot able to invest hell lot of money. So that the reason what I say, what I did, go to calculator. I've created a service with cluster IP. In the ingress I defined that service. So they have already purchased a domain. So whenever they hit calculator.example.com/calculator, I need to go to that particular page. Same like I shown you the real life example as well, Amazon.in, right? Amazon.in/Amazon Prime. Whenever I hit this, I need to go to this particular page. In the same way, whenever I hit my company website, that is stage.brs.com/calculator, I need to go to that calculator pod application. So same thing, I have implemented that. But right now we are not discussing about ingress. I said ingress will be discussed in upcoming session. At that time I will show you, I will apply the ingress rules. But right now I am directly exposing the application using service. But in reality, in companies, what they will do, they will define the ingress controller, ingress rules. What I did, I directly exposed this service to the outside world. But in reality, they don't want to expose the service IP, because why the reason? If they know the service IP, they might hack. That's the reason what they use it to do. They use it to use ingress controller. And they will define the rules in ingress. What is the rules? So whenever I get a request to calculator.example.com/calculator, send the traffic to this particular service. What service will do? Service will go and search for the pods with this label. Like this, it will work. Okay, let's come back. kubectl apply -f service.yml. Now it is exposed or not? 30978. Previously, if you see, it was a type of cluster IP. I cannot able to see. Now it is 30978. But in reality, you are not going to use IP address with this port number. Now I am taking the IP address directly. It's not a best practice, right? What I am doing, I am copying the public IP address. I am going to the new tab, pasting, and then after port number 30978. So if you see, this is the calculator 2347 submit 70. So I don't know what is the purpose, but they told us to implement this calculator application. So my project was related to petroleum. They don't want to do some calculation and all. I don't know, but they told us you can do the multiplication as well, division as well. So you can ask me, okay, in your system also you will be having calculator, right? You can use that calculator to do some calculation, right? But yeah, it depends. Company might have some restrictions. So they told us to implement this. So yesterday from morning onwards, I like, for this implementation, if you see, it's not an easy task. From scratch I have implemented. So I have taken the Python calculator code. I done lot of research to correct the best calculator. And after I converted that into a Docker image, right? Then I push it to Docker Hub. They didn't provide me which Docker Hub. What I did, I push it to my own private repository. I have already account in Docker Hub with my personal name. So I've created a repository called as calculator. So they told us to create two calculator which will be exposed to the outside world. Right now, if you see this, it is exposed. And one more thing, they want internal purpose. So this is BC. This is one more thing which I have implemented. This will not expose to the outside world. It's for internal purpose. So I will show you that one as well. mkdir BC. I will go inside this BC. Did I write the deployment file for BC? I will copy this. So I don't want to expose this. So there is no need of any ports because I don't want to expose. Here, what I did, this is also, I have written my own Docker file. Okay, I didn't even go to, just a moment. I have written my own Docker file. I don't know. I didn't save. I think I didn't use go and Google even. What is a Docker file? Let me write here. Will add. It will be better. New file. Docker file. This is the Docker file I have created on my own from Ubuntu 20.04 run app update apt install bc -y, then after cmd. So what I did, I don't want to stop this. I want to run this 24/7. I don't know how to do that. What I search how to, just a moment. In the history it will be there. I will go to the history. So I think I've done in my company laptop, right? Yeah, how to keep container running. So there will be some command there. I implemented cmd. Okay, run a container without exit. You are running Docker container indefinitely. So I done that mistake yesterday. Before doing that, if I copy that command, it will be great. But so just a moment. Let me implement this. I will show you. BC, right? Here CMD I will add. Okay. I will run this and I will show. This is for internal purpose. vi deploy.yml. Insert kubectl apply -f deploy.yml kubectl get pods. Okay, it has used the same label, right? So, I need to change that labels. And I did a mistake. You see, I need to change that these labels here. So BC so we are discussing about storage part. If you remember, I need to show that. Don't worry. In tomorrow sessions we will discuss about that. Here image name I need to change, right? BC, right? BC. So how to log in inside a pod? Do you know the command? kubectl exec -it pod name --bin by bash. Am I right? I'm inside the pod. So just enter BC, enter, right? 2 plus 3. I'm getting 5. 5 into 35. 5 minus 2, 3. I'm getting calculator or not. This is for internal purpose. 8 equal to 5. So if you say 6 plus 5. So only addition, subtraction, division, this will work in basic calculator. So this is for internal. So you need to enter quit. So you can come out of the pod. This is for internal purpose. They told us to implement this basic calculator. They can use this or they can directly go to this 34 78 submit, right? Reset. So it depends upon the requirement. They might use UI, or if they are working internally, they can use this. They will simply go inside the pod. Later they will work. These are the two things which I have implemented. I spent a whole day, yesterday's whole day. Then after completing that, I just take some rest and I texted in WhatsApp. So this now I have implemented calculator. Everything will be same, okay? Only the image name will be changed. You will take the code. So what I will do? I have used this code, right? This is the code which I have used. What I will do? I will add this code to my repository and I will give you an access. So now we need to discuss about this that CMD part, right? Docker pull so Docker container run -d capital P Docker yes. So this is the CMD. So what I will do, I will just okay. Sleep infinity. Now I remember sleep infinity Docker. Yeah, this is the CMD which I've used. Now I remember. So from next time, whatever I implemented in real time, first thing I will do, I will in my laptop, in personal laptop, I will copy. If not, we will forget. By luckily, I remembered that. So you need to know how to Google. So you know how to Google, then only you will get solutions. So I'm not getting what I searched. So I searched sleep infinity docker command. I got this command. What I did, I taken that as a CMD. So bin bash, you can use bin bash or this one bin/sh. You can use anything. Right? kubectl get all -o wide. So this is what which have implemented. So yeah, that's it for today. I will stop